Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 65. Alpha's Back. It quickly became a competition between Gyda and Astrid as to who would fill the basket the fastest. Each took turns and timed it by sneaky counting. She gave her word that she was counting fair, just like how she judged Hiccup and Astrid's snow race fairly. Astrid let Gyda go first, citing, with a wink, that Gyda was the eldest. This resulted in an already full basket of goatweed. Both ladies were certain that Goathy would not mind having 2 baskets. At least, they hoped she would not. Stormfly and Windwalker stayed out of the competition. They sat next to each other, reminding Gyda of a mated pair of turkeys she once saw at a children's petting/feeding zoo, and conversing in low chirps and chitters. Shadowfire took advantage of the moment by flopping onto his back and letting the sun warm his belly scales. The dragon had gotten spoiled by the fact that many places in the archipelago they went to had wide open areas he could use to lounge in the sun, since he tended to stretch his wings, neck and tail when he, as he put it, sunbathed. A word he had to explain to any who heard him call his activity that, which was up to this point was mostly the Hoffersons. Hiccup, if he did not know about it from Astrid, had yet to question Shadowfire's tendency. Fishlegs had yet to ask about it either. Gyda was certain as soon as the lad finished his side project of counting all the dragons currently living upon Berg and documenting who lived where, Fishlegs would be back around to question Shadow, Frost and Pale more about their species. Gyda was also certain either Frost or Shadow would mention the sun bathing, and it would open a whole other can of worms. Gyda was not actually looking forward to that. Some things about her time she never understood, and knew she would never be able to explain it to someone outside of her time. It being Astrid's turn now, Gyda stood aside. This allowed her to see Shadowfire's jerk and lift his head.
He said, "Wait, that's Moondust he's riding." That caused multiple reactions. Astrid's gaze snapped skyward. The nadders surged to their claws. Shadowfire rolled to his paws. Sneaky stopped counting and flew to Shadowfire's head. "It's just Alpha and Moondust," Sneaky said. Gyda rushed to Shadowfire's side. She rooted into one of her 2 bags sewn into the leather straps that ran from the front corners of his saddle over his foreleg, connecting with the belly strap just under the patch of hardened scales that kept his chest arrow-proof. She turned as Hiccup and Moondust landed. She handed him the small cast-iron kettle she carried in that saddlebag. He took it, frowning. "I know what's wrong with Toothless," she said before Astrid had a chance to question him, or he had the chance to tell her about the kettle. "You can use that to brew the concoction you need to heal him." Hiccup looked down at the kettle, then back up to Gyda. "The tail?" "Aye." "Anyone want to tell me what's going on?" Astrid asked.
"Toothless accidentally ate an eel and is not agreeing with him," Astrid said. "Moondust said I had to get to him to throw it up before it gets worse."
Astrid frowned. "You came back to get buttercup tea," she said. Hiccup tilted his head. "Goathy taught it to me too."
"Ah," Hiccup said before stepping forward and staring at Astrid. "Get the others back to Berg when they get their ingredients."
Astrid's eyes narrowed. Hiccup cupped her cheek with his hand. Gyda, though technically a human chaperone for them, per Edis's request, looked towards Shadowfire's saddle and began to fiddle with the straps. She kept her ears trained on them, though. She would give them visual privacy, mostly because she knew Stormfly and Sneaky were watching them like hawks. But she would not neglect all of her duties to them. She did feel honoured that both trusted her enough to act this way around each other. Kisses and hand-holding aside, Hiccup and Astrid were a highly private couple, and would not be this way if the other teens were present.
"You are my queen," she heard Hiccup whisper. "The dragons will obey you over Gobber, and I know I can trust the nest to you. You have never failed me."
Gyda wondered if Hiccup knew just what those words meant to Astrid. Gyda was not dumb, nor blind. She was also one of the 2 who Astrid trusted enough to speak to about problems she faced, the other being Edis. Many a night after Astrid warmed up to Gyda, they had sat in Astrid's room, speaking about various things. Just before Gyda's house was finished and she moved out, Astrid had confessed a fear that she would fail Hiccup again. This fear only got worse as the marriage contract was signed and witnessed. "Don't go alone," Astrid whispered. "I'll take fish legs and the gronkles. Meatlog carries a net, so fish can bring back interesting rocks for Meatlog and Boulder. I can use it to trap Toothless and make him take the tea." "Take Gyda with you, please." Both of Gyda's eyebrows lifted. "I would feel better if she went with you. She can make barriers." Gyda heard Hiccup give a soft chuckle, and then the sound of him kissing Astrid. Gyda kept her focus upon Shadowfire's straps. She would intervene if she had to, but she would let them have the illusion of some privacy. "Moondust," Hiccup said a few heartbeats later. Gyda turned. If Hiccup was addressing the female Night Fury, then the moment between he and Astrid was over. Gyda found Hiccup looking at Moondust. "Thank you for letting me ride on your back, but I think I'll ride on Shadowfire back to the island. I don't have a saddle to hold on to you, and I'm not using your sensing lobes to keep myself sitting. Is that okay?"
Moondust tilted her head. "Why are you asking if that is okay with me, Alpha? Your safety is paramount overall. If you feel unsafe on my back, don't get on my back, please."
Hiccup sat the cattle down and placed both hands on either side of Moondust's head.
"I don't want you to feel bad, or that you've done something wrong because I'm riding Shadowfire back to Wheel Island. It's nothing you've done."
Moondust cooed and nuzzled into Hiccup's chest. "I know, my Alpha. I understand. Besides, with you not on my back, I would not have to worry about you if I need to act in order to contain Toothless, or keep him safe from the other dragons on the island. Thank you for considering my feelings, though, Alpha."
Hiccup smiled and placed his cheek against the top of Moondust's bowed head. He then stepped back and looked at Gyda. She, in turn, tapped Shadowfire's foreleg. He lowered and shifted his leg out. Gyda then gestured for Hiccup to precede her. Hiccup smiled, grabbed the kettle, and climbed up. Gyda climbed up after him. She attached the tether lines from her harness to the connecting hooks. Shadowfire stood. Gyda glanced down at Astrid and pointedly placed her hands upon Hiccup's shoulders. She caught both the slight frown Astrid gave and the small smile and nod of her head.
"We'll be back as soon as Toothless is better,"
Hiccup called down. "Okay," Astrid said, and Gyda could hear the tightness of her friend's voice.
"Moondust," Hiccup said, his head turning. "Go ahead and help Sharp keep an eye on Toothless."
Moondust bowed and was airborne and banked in the direction of Eel Island before Gyda took 2 breaths.
"Gyda?"
Hiccup questioned. "You tell him, Hiccup," Gyda replied. "You know my son will listen to you."
Okay. Go and find fish legs in the gronkle, Shadowfire."
"As you command, my Alpha," Shadowfire said, before running to the edge of the cliff the Maddo sat upon. He dove off, flared his wings, caught an upthrust of air, rose, then banked and headed down towards the rocky grassland in the middle of the island. Gyda hoped the Typhoomerang from the tail would be lenient to Toothless, or that Moondust and Sharpshot could get it and explain the situation in time. She knew Hiccup would blame himself if any harm came to his brother. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Not much to report. I like it. I love that Gyda's giving them the illusion of privacy so they can have a moment. I like that Gyda's prepared because of the story she knows. Yep, anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.